everyone, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel, and today we're going to be working on week 14 in my Project Life 2018 album. As usual, for starting off my process, I'm using my Fiskus trimmer to trim down all of the excess of my photos. I currently am using 5x7 photo paper that's a little bit too big. Most of my photos are only 3x4 and occasionally 4x6, so it takes just a little minute of extra trimming. I do want to apologise to you. It's been a little while since I've been posting videos on my channel. You may know that I'm not very well and I've been really poorly recently, so I haven't been able to create or share anything. But I'm happy to be back sharing this Project Life spread with you today, and hopefully I'll be back better and more often than ever. So let's get started with today's page. I'm just going to work out where I want to put my photos in the page protector. I like them to be roughly chronological, so I'm just making sure that I can put any matching photos together, and then the rest of them tell the story of my week. So getting started for this page, we're going to work on the title card first. I'm going to be using this week the April Savannah Pocket Life kit from Citrus Twist Kits. I am subscribed to their Pocket Life kit and this kit was absolutely beautiful. I love it. And that's what I'm going to be using for this week's page. I'm using my Ali Edwards April stamps from her month stamp set, and these are some of my favourite stamps. I use them every week of every month and I still love them. I'm then going to be taking these beautiful puffy, they're ombre puffy stickers. They're alpha stickers, but they have numbers and punctuation as well, which is really great. So I'm taking those and I'm going to be labelling my week, which is April 2nd until April 8th. And then I'm using some of these leatherette stickers, which I've never used before but absolutely love. And I'm using the turquoise heart from that just to stick in the middle. And I'm going to use my tiny attacher to give it some texture. I decided I didn't want to use the whole of that 4x6 card, so I've trimmed the date piece into a little strip, and then I'm using this really cool pine effect pattern paper, and I'm going to just use some double-sided sticky tape to stick that strip onto a black Doodlebug Designs mini doily, and then I'm going to stick those onto the pattern paper. I'm then going to choose another one of the leatherette stickers. This is going to be a little pink word strip that says "It's all good." And again, I'm going to use my tiny attacher just to add some texture and some staples to that. Next up on this title card, just to finish it up, I'm going to be using my black jelly roll pen and my acrylic block to essentially do a doodly border that's not a doodly border. I have shaky hands and it never looks good when I try it, so I'm cheating a little bit and using the edge of my acrylic block just to outline that card and make it look a little bit more finished. That's then going to be that card finished and put into the pocket. All of the papers in the kit this month were Citrus Twist exclusives, and they came in a really great 6x8 size, which makes it perfect to cut in half and make two 4x6 cards. The one I'm using for this pocket is a really bright fun rainbow stripe, and it was just perfect for these photos of my nephew and my dad. I'm using my double-sided sticky tape just to stick the photos down as always, and I also found this light blue grid texture little label or tag that I'm going to use on the end, and again I'm going to use some double-sided sticky tape to put that in place, and I'm going to use this for the base of my embellishment cluster and also for some journaling. I'm just going to use some of my super thick white twine to finish off that tag, and then we can get on to the fun part, which is adding the embellishments. I'm going to start off by using these really pretty light pink tiny word stickers, and the first one I'm going to use says "Oh hey there," and I'm just going to stick that at the top of the tag. And I found this tiny word label that says "You're my free spirit," and I'm just going to use my tiny attacher to stick that in place, and again to keep the theme of the staples. I'm then taking some more of those fun ombre puffy stickers, and I'm just spelling out fun underneath. I'm then going to get my black jelly roll pen and just add some journaling underneath, saying about my nephew and my dad having fun at dinner time together. I wanted to add another embellishment cluster on the other side of the photo, so I'm going to use this really pretty orangey peachy coloured leatherette heart, and then I'm going to actually use one of the stamps that comes in the kit. I'm just finding a label to stamp on. I chose this one, which is one of the signature Citrus Twist style labels, and I'm just using some black StazOn ink again, and I'm going to stamp that, and I actually get a perfect impression first time, which never happens, so I was pretty happy about that. And I'm just going to use a little piece of my double-sided sticky tape to pop that in place, and then I'm going to stick the heart back on top. I will use my tiny attacher to secure that in place, and then that card is also going to be finished, and we're going to move on to the next pocket. So this next photo is a special one. This is a photo of my brother and my niece. They were both part of a wedding recently. One of my brother's best friends got married, so he was best man, and my niece was their flower girl. And there was just some really beautiful special photos of the two of them that I really wanted to document, as it was a big part of all of our week, waiting for the photos to appear on our family group chat. I've used one of the leatherette stickers that says "It's just you and me, baby," one of the leatherette hearts, and then I've just found a really tiny heart die cut. Used some of my tacky glue just to glue that in place as well. I'm now taking one of the journaling cards from that kit and two of their stamps, also from the same stamp set that I used earlier on, and I'm just making my own journaling card. So I'm stamping at the top "Happy Living" and "Special," and then once I've put away my stamps, I'm also going to take my black jelly roll pen again and add some journaling, just explaining that, you know, where they went and why they were there and when it was, so that when we look back in my albums in the future, we can also see other members of the family. I'm just going to secure both of those cards together using some washi tape on the back, as I'm using page protectors that only have 4x6 pockets, and then that card is going to be done and we're going to move on to the next pocket. For the next pocket, we're still working with photos from the wedding, so I wanted to find a pattern paper that would perfectly fit, and I find this beautiful, really bright, fun, colourful floral, so I'm chopping that down to make a 4x6, and then I'm going to keep it pretty simple on this one. I'm just leaving a tiny border on the two outer sides for embellishing, so we're going to stick the photos down in the middle. They do slightly overlap, but it doesn't matter too much, and then we're going to move on to embellishing them. There were so many pretty embellishments to choose from, and I decided I was going to use one of the pink tiny word stickers that said "Heart Bursts." I'm then having a look through the die cut pack to see if there was anything else that I wanted to add onto this part of the photo. I didn't find anything I wanted to add here, but do find a tiny word strip I want to use on the other side. I'm then going to have another look at the leatherette stickers, and I decided that I want to use a turquoise puffy leatherette heart, so I'm just going to add that on the other side of the tiny word sticker that says "Heart Bursts." I'm going to still use the leatherette arrow, and I'm going to stick that on the side of my brother. I'm taking my tiny attacher and I'm adding some staples to either side of the tiny word strip to make sure that it's secure, but also add some texture. Moving on to the next pocket, I need to find another piece of pattern paper, and I find this really fun mustard yellow one with a red grid. It screams the 70s to me, and we have lots of red and yellow in our photo, so it just worked perfectly. My photos that I'm working with for this one is one of my husband and one of myself, and they're just a little bit big, so I need to get out my trimmer so that I can make them both smaller and both the same size. And then, once I've finished doing that, we're going to go through one of the scraps we made earlier with the wood grain paper, and I'm just going to add that as an extra layer in the middle of that grid. I think it looks really great, and it breaks up some of that grid to stop it being a little bit much while still keeping the whole page consistent, as that matches the title card. I'm then just using my big Tim Holtz scissors to trim off a little piece at the end so that they still get a even border of that grid paper. I'm then just using some more double-sided sticky tape to stick that in place and to secure all of the layers together. I'm then going to have a look through the die cut pack, and I decided that I want to use these fun die cuts, so I'm going to actually stick those between the two of the photos, and we'll stick those down using staples and glue in a moment. I did get one of these tab labels to write my journaling on, and it just didn't work out right. It was a little bit too squished, and I think I actually smudged one, so I decided I was going to go through my die cuts and my the digital printables cut files that you get from Citrus Twist, and I was going to use one of these labels instead, as I knew that I wanted to add some journaling. This was an important day where we donated to our local Dogs Trust, so we just added that in the corner there. I'm then going to get my tiny attacher and staple down these fun die cuts. I'm just stapling on the pieces that I can reach, and then I will also glue some of the flapping pieces down for extra security. Once I've done that, I'm going to look for some extra little embellishments that I want to add on the left side of the photo, and I'm going to choose one of these pink tiny word stickers that says excursion, and I'm just going to add that there, and another one of those leatherette hearts just in the top corner to bring in some of the other colours we've used, and I'm going to staple them on with my tiny attacher, and that's going to be that pocket finish too. For the last pocket of this page, I'm actually working with two photos which are separate stories, so I decided to use some of my 3x4 cards, and I'm going to have a look through them and try them all behind the photos. I do find one which is a beautiful turquoise colour, and then the other card that I use is orange and peachy coloured. And they're actually, I will put them together in the pocket, but I wanted them to stand out as individual stories of their own. Before I stick the photos down using double-sided sticky tape, I wanted to add a little bit of washi to the bottom of the card. This one that I'm using has a little white patch which I didn't actually want to show. I didn't think it would match very well, so I'm just using a piece of blue grid washi that looks almost like a textbook, and then just going to stick my photo over the top. So this is a photo of my husband having breakfast, or making breakfast rather. So I'm taking one of these arrow leatherette stickers in yellow, and I'm actually chopping off the part that makes it arrow. I just want it to say around here. I'm then going to use some more of the alpha stickers, and I'm just going to spell out brekkie. As these are ombre, they're really pretty, but sometimes I did struggle because depending on which letters you chose, you would have only one letter that was a different colour. So I'm just putting those on there. I've stapled down the leatherette sticker, and I'm just going to add some journaling using my jelly roll pen up the side of the photo. That's actually going to be that one done. I'm then going to work on the last card, which is a photo of my soon-to-be brother-in-law and my nephew. We was having dinner at their house, and my nephew just absolutely adores his daddy, so he's just sat there in his little high chair next door being best buds and, you know, enjoying having dinner together. I'm going to look through the die cut pack, and I find this die cut that I thought I was going to use, but I actually find one of the pink tiny word stickers that I would rather use instead, which says about this photograph. So I'm going to add that in the corner, and then use my black jelly roll pen to add some journaling. I add quite a bit of journaling as I'm really trying to get back into telling the stories more rather than just decorating my photos. I'm using my tiny attacher to secure that tiny word sticker down, and I'm going to take one of the little green leatherette hearts, and at first I was going to add it between my nephew and his dad, but I decided to cover up the ones that I had drawn with my jelly roll pen and to use that one instead. I'm then going to use another one of those really small hearts from the die cut pack and use my liquid glue to put that in place. That's actually going to be that card finished and also the page finished. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been super fun to get back into it, and I really look forward to sharing some more of my pages and projects with you soon. I apologise if I've been a little bit rambly. It has been a little while, so it's going to take me a little while to get my mojo back. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And otherwise, I'll see you very soon with a new video. Thanks for watching.